Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to go over Hobie Kayak in 2025 and beyond. Has Hobie Kayak finally been knocked off that #1 spot in the market? What has caused this? So where did it start? I'll go over new and prospective buyers. Have they lost the confidence in bringing on new business, which is going to help them grow in this year and beyond? And I'll also go over the used market. So what is the health of Hobie's buying used, obviously getting into them in a lower price point, getting new people in there as well. Has the confidence been shattered so much that the used market has suffered as well with Hobie Kayak? I'll go over toward the end of the video what my solution for Hobie Kayak would be. If I was running the show, what would I change with them? So on and so forth. Anyways, guys, let's get right into it. So Hobie Kayak in 2025, and really a lot's happened just in the last probably 18 months. So Hobie Kayak, many of you know about the Mexico manufacturing. In my opinion, obviously I'm a big American-made guy. That's the quality process. Everything's hands-on, everything's in-house. But Hobie moving to Mexico, you're really talking about a 150-mile ride from their original Oceanside, California location to the Mexico location. And Hobie's word has been, it's gotten them to get both better quality workers and more quality workers. Maybe not higher quality, but more quality workers. And that's important when you're talking about supply issues, getting parts out, so on and so forth. But starting back in the COVID era, all manufacturers really had a quality issue because you got new people doing new things and they're having to do them at a quicker pace than they're used to doing. So you saw a lot of things get missed, or maybe you don't want to hold up that process. Maybe someone got COVID in the shipping area and everything had to be shut down for a few weeks. So you saw quite a bit of supply and demand, plus the industry was booming. Everybody had some time on their hands. Everybody wanted to social distance. It made people's lifestyle that like to be on the water even cooler. So everybody wanted to get in on the piece of the pie there. But now that we've kind of settled down, now that the market is saturated with kayaks, some companies have really rise to the top and some have either stayed stagnant or even taken a major hit. Hobie Kayak, in my opinion, is one of those companies that really took a major hit, at least in public perception. Now, this is not a video telling you that they're the greatest thing out there, but it's also not a video telling you that they're the worst also. A lot of the draw to Hobie has been the Pro Angler, and specifically the 360 drive. So the 360 drive gives you the ability to pedal the kayak forward, backward, even sideways, diagonally. It allows you to motion your kayak and gives you better boat control. And that's really the name of the game. But with the industry switching more toward a motorized, whether you're bow or stern mount, anchoring systems, whether you're doing spot lock or an anchor mount or a stakeout pole, a lot of people are starting to move away from the pedal drives and go more motorized. And you're seeing more graphs, you're seeing more accessories go on kayaks that didn't really, at least they've always done them, but this is to a higher extent. And I feel like Hobie has really failed a little bit in adapting to that. And they've also made some moves that I feel like is going to make it harder for them financially to move forward. Now, most of you know that Hobie's been for sale for quite some time. They were looking at being sold there for a while, and then it kind of fell apart, and they're kind of back at square one. Now, they're still making kayaks, obviously, but the biggest problem, in my opinion, is parts availability. Though this is going to affect your warranties, this is going to affect your people that have bought these $5,000 kayaks. And again, I'm talking about the Pro Angler here. $5,000 kayak, so now they're close to $6,000. They bought this kayak, something goes wrong with them. Yeah, there's a warranty, but how quickly can you get it supplied back to you? You bought this kayak in the wintertime, you've got it rigged out, you're ready for fishing, and we're talking about serious tournament anglers. So, or even if you're not a tournament angler, if you own a Hobie, chances are you take your fishing a little bit more seriously as far as going out, use. These aren't like once or twice a month people that typically buy the Pro Anglers, but the vast majority of us, we're going to be going out a lot more. We're going to be using more gear and fishing, some more serious events there. You're going to be seeing more travel anglers, in other words. If these people buy this kayak, they make this serious investment, and it is that, when something goes wrong, say the drive malfunctions, say you get a little crack or something, again, warranty covers it. But if you're looking at months for that replacement, that customer has just spent thousands of dollars just to miss the fishing season. And the level of excitement when you buy a Hobie, because again, for years you've heard that this is the best of the best. This is what you see the professionals in. I've been in a Hobie Pro Angler myself. I really enjoyed it. But again, a lot of people are kind of shying away from that because there's so many issues. Say what you will about content creators, but there's a lot of eyes on them. People look to them on gear, buying decisions. You know, it may not be the sole thing that steers them one way or the other, but it's definitely a guiding force. If you see somebody that's been fishing in a pro angler for years and then they leave it and they're very upset with how they were treated, it tends to amplify in the market. So you're seeing a lot of that. You're seeing, I always kind of compared it to a terrible disease. So even if you haven't contracted this disease personally, you probably know of somebody or have someone close to you that has been affected by these Hobie issues. And it's really, again, it's really multiplied on a viral level. So that's really where it started, in my opinion. So let's talk about the new prospective buyers. So these are the people that are going to grow Hobie moving forward. These are, in my opinion, the focus of what Hobie needs to be is on these new people. So you've got your core people. All kayak manufacturers have their core people. It doesn't matter if you're Jackson, Old Town, Pelican, any of them, Bonafide, Native, any of those guys. New Canoe as well, New Canoe specifically because they have that really loyal customer base. Hobie is very, very similar, if not more so. They've been around for a long time. They have been very innovative in the past. The Pro Angler, when it came out, was like nothing that was even out on the market. And there for the longest time, we're talking about over a decade, everybody was playing for second. And the gap was pretty high. You had Hobie up here, everybody else was, nobody was challenging for that. You started to see some other manufacturers shooting for that, and then Hobie kind of had some, in my opinion, self-inflicted issues that kind of brought them down, and the competition really, really increased. So the competition reacted and was proactive a lot more to the trends. We're talking about motors, sonar, any electronics, lighting, anything like that. And you're seeing a lot more of them come from the factory, out of the box, ready to go. Think about the Old Town Autopilot. Think about, Bonafide's newest larger fishing kayaks with the XTR and the PWR. Think about, some Jacksons bringing back the big rig. Those large fishing kayaks are really kind of, everybody's got one or more of them in their lineup. With the Hobie issues being so loud and prominent, it really has kind of scared off those new people from that brand. And I've seen that a lot where somebody sees the Hobies, they see the price tag. The price is not as big of a objection as you would think it would be. But if this thing is going to break down and it's going to be months to get your parts or replacements in, well, maybe I need to look at company X, Y, or Z. And that has happened a lot. So new and prospective buyers, the confidence is harder to gain on those people because they've gotten into kayak fishing. They pretty much, if they're looking at a Hobie, they already know they love kayak fishing. They're in it to win it. And they're starting to see now, or hear at least, that maybe Hobie's not the brand that I thought they were, and there's all this new stuff coming out that is innovative. And my next thing I'm going to talk about, and what that is the used market. So if you've been on Facebook a lot, which most of, or if not all of us are, and I put a post on my Facebook page that, have you been seeing a lot of these pro anglers for sale here recently? I definitely have noticed a lot more of that, and being curious about what people are actually getting for them, because the pricing has gone way down because confidence has gone down. Because with a used kayak, what are you not getting? You're not getting the warranty. Now the warranty may be a huge issue or something that scares people off with the perceived issues of that, but when you're going used, you're not going to have that protection or even the resemblance of it. So people are knowing that if something goes wrong, I'm going to have to pay for that out of pocket, and you're talking about a good chunk of change there. So the used market has definitely been affected. It's multiplied. So again, everyone's got used kayaks out there, but Hobie specifically seems to have been, it's got to be really cheap for someone to really want to pull the trigger on. These are going to be your diehards that know how good of a kayak this is. If it's cheap enough, they're going to buy it. If anything, you've got more parts there too. So with new prospective buyers, there has to be confidence in who's going to take care of me. And this is where your customer service comes into play. This is your local paddle shop, which there's less and less of those that are carrying Hobies. Some of them have been jumping ship because the fact that Hobie has gone big box. So you can see them at Academy, Dick's Sporting Goods, Bass Pro and Cabela's now sells the Pro Angler, and Shields. You can buy from pennies on the dollar at Shields. If you're going to have that marketplace, these places do not service the kayaks, and that's very important to realize too. So where does Hobie Kayak go from here? What, in my opinion, what I would do, so say if Bearded Paddler is buying Hobie Kayak, which I don't roll like that, but if I did, how would I fix Hobie Kayak? Well, in my opinion, Hobie needs to get back to their roots. So we always talk about innovation, but honestly, in the kayak industry, when you're talking about designing the hull of a kayak, there's only so far you can go right now with hull design. You already have a big, large open water kayak in the Pro Angler, but you really need to go back to the drawing board on your customer service and your confidence. So that's going to mean a more robust warranty. And again, all of these things are going to cost money. Hopefully, whoever owns Hobie Kayak next is going to know this, because you have a tremendous amount of warranty liability out there. So there's a lot of people out there that are still waiting on parts, that are still waiting on things. Some people have older Hobie kayaks that they're frustrated that they can't buy parts for that anymore. And we're talking about 5 or 6 years ago. We're not talking about a tremendous amount of time. So the Hobie drives have changed over the years, and as those change, obviously it always happens, you're going to discontinue certain things. To bring people back to the brand, you're going to really need to see what chased them away. So customer service, parts availability, however you need to do that, whether it needs to be done domestically, because a lot of their parts are sourced from overseas. That was a big problem during COVID, and even the years to follow is, yes, the hulls can be manufactured in the US at that time, but your parts were coming over and there was a tremendous delay in shipping and customs, all of the above. Me and Christina, we own a Hobie Lynx. The Hobie Lynx almost primarily is made and manufactured in China. So there are some issues getting parts. Most of you have heard about the Hobie H-Rail kit shipping delays. It took us almost a year to get those in stock when I worked at Ozark Mountain Trading Company, and it's not just us, that's everywhere in the country. So needing to really, if you've got this big, beautiful manufacturing facility, you need to have the parts available. So when people do make that investment and you're able to take care of them quicker, that's gonna get that confidence rolling. That's gonna get people talking about you more as like, hey, yes, they're owned by a new group now, but Hobie Kayak has really made the steps necessary to get people back in the sport, and back, more importantly, into their kayaks. Because in my opinion, when Hobie wins, we all win. It makes the competition better. You got more quality products, more high-end quality products. There's a ton, as Chad said in his video here the other day, there's more lower priced, under $1,000 kayaks available right now than at any other time in the history of the kayak industry. But Hobie being that place and that upper echelon, they really need to step up in that quality and confidence. So things happen in all kayaks. There's quality issues everywhere, but when they do happen, are they going to be taken care of in a timely manner? And that's the most important thing, in my opinion. And if I'm going to be more specific, specifically the Hobie 360 drive, if you're not going to scrap that altogether, getting rid of that rubber belt. The rubber belt is the bane of any existence for any paddle shop that's doing any kind of warranty work on it. The time and effort that it takes to get that rubber belt out and change it out is just, it's something else. Make it a chain, make it something that doesn't snap with any kind of tension over a long period of time, because it's not if it happens, it is when it happens. And to get that part, sometimes takes both a long period of time and a tremendous amount of effort and labor to get that part changed out. They've already fixed the issues with the drive. If something were to break, you're not going to be stranded out there with that drive just spinning around. But getting rid of that rubber belt is going to be something, I think, one of the most easiest fixes out there, but also something that just hasn't happened either. And big box, again, if you're going to go big box, you need the support, you need the warranty and the service. that is going to be, in my opinion, probably, if anything breaks them, that's going to be it. If you go and you spend $5,000 at Bass Pro, you go back with an issue and they can't help you and there's no service center around you, that's a problem. So without anyone to fix it, you've just spent $5,000 on something. You might as well have gotten one of these foreign kayaks where you don't have the support of them either, but at a much cheaper price range. But now you've seen that where the competition has gotten better, and Hobie, in my opinion, has failed to take that next step. They've actually taken 2 steps backwards. So it's leveled things out a little bit. There are plenty of quality manufacturers out there, obviously, but with Hobie kind of lagging behind in the game, and if they were to go down, I think it would be business as usual, obviously, in the kayak industry right now, because we're in such a high level right now that it wouldn't be such a big void. But there's a lot of people out there that love their Hobies, that their Hobies have treated them well. And when they work properly, it is one of the best kayaks out there. I still think that the Hobie Outback in a pedal drive is one of the best values and most capable kayaks out there for both skinny water and large open water. But again, that's not the focus. When people think of Hobie, they think of that flagship kayak, the Pro Angler. So anyways, guys, what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below. As always, I always like your feedback, both negative and positive. Have you had positive experience with that Pro Angler or negative experience? Do you know somebody that's had some negative experience? Chances are you probably do. Let us know down in the comments below. As always, we'll see you on the next video, guys.